My name is Kat Abughazaleh. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois, and the Department of Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview Processing Center.
As you just heard, that was Democratic congressional candidate from Chicago, Kat Abughazaleh, sharing with her followers and supporters that she is being targeted by the Department of Justice for protesting. Most of you are probably familiar with Kat Abughazaleh. She is a Gen Z leftist running for Congress, which is headline grabbing on its own, but she's gotten mainstream attention for the way she's been treated by ICE agents while at these protests. All of this is on video, so there's evidence showing exactly the way she's been treated, and I will show you some of the footage, but first, let's hear the rest of Kat's statements surrounding the indictment.
This is a political prosecution and a gross attempt to silence dissent, a right protected under the First Amendment. This case is a major push by the Trump administration to criminalize protest and punish anyone who speaks out against them. That's why I'm going to fight these unjust charges, but I need your help to do it. As I and others have exercised our First Amendment rights, ICE has hit, dragged, thrown, shot with pepper balls, and tear gassed hundreds of protesters, simply because we had the gall to say that masked men coming into our communities, abducting our neighbors, and terrorizing us cannot be our new normal. And because Chicago doesn't back down from bullies in masks who tear gas our neighborhoods, this administration has resorted to weaponizing the federal justice system to scare us into silence. But we're not going to be silent. The Trump administration wants you to be afraid of speaking out against it and its anti-democratic power grabs. And there are plenty of reasons to be afraid right now, but we have to overcome that fear. This case targets our rights to protest, speak freely, and associate with anyone who disagrees with the government. And while we have seen the unhinged and unlawful tactics this administration has used against the American public, it's important to remember they're doing this because they are scared. They are wrong. And they know they are on the wrong side of history. We cannot diminish ourselves in the face of these attacks. That's why we have to unite and stand up for humanity, our rights, and everyone terrorized by Trump's lawless secret police. You'll be hearing regular updates directly from me about this case and how we can use our constitutional rights to resist authoritarianism. And as scary as all of this is, I have spent my career fighting America's backslide into fascism. I'm not going to stop now, and I hope you won't either.
The fact that she's being targeted at all should upset anyone who claims to care about our Constitution, but of course, that is not the country that we live in. It's particularly upsetting to anyone who's familiar with Kat and the work that she does, because if you follow her on any kind of social media, then you've probably seen what really goes on at these ICE protests. You've seen the way that this woman has been treated by these thugs, abused and attacked as if she is a physical threat to these armed dudes. I'm not going to call them men. If you're unfamiliar, here is just some of what I'm talking about. Kat is unarmed at these protests, and while it shouldn't be the main point, I am just going to mention it because personally, I just find it so ridiculous. She is, I believe, 5'1", somewhere around 100 pounds. I know you can't tell because you always just see me sitting behind this desk with this huge microphone in front of me, but I am 5'0" and maybe 100 pounds tops. That's not a flex. I'm just saying that, like Kat, I am incredibly small. So the idea of a grown dude, again, I will not call these people men, are acting as if this tiny unarmed woman is a physical threat that needs to be grabbed, groped, and then thrown on the ground is just inconceivably dumb to me. It reeks of insecurity. And it's true. I will concede that small women have a reputation for being a little bit feisty. And I feel a big part of that is because we have to be. People overlook us all the time. People don't take us seriously. They say it's cute when we get angry or upset. We have to be smarter. And yes, sometimes we have to be louder just to command any kind of respect or attention from the world. But we tend to fight with our words, not our bodies. What Kat is doing out there, putting her body on the line, taking on these armed ICE thugs is incredibly commendable, and that should not go without stating. By the way, that didn't just happen to her one time at one ICE protest. She is out there regularly, and the attacks against her are unfortunately not unusual. On top of protesting, she continues to speak out on behalf of her community in Chicago and others affected by ICE, which honestly, at this point, is all of us. So some details on the indictment. The indictment filed last week alleges that the 26-year-old Palestinian American candidate and 5 other individuals physically hindered and impeded a federal judge who was forced to drive at an extremely slow rate of speed, oh no, to avoid injuring any of the conspirators. Abughazaleh, who is running for Illinois' 9th Congressional District to replace the outgoing Democrat Jan Schakowsky, was charged with conspiracy to forcibly impede or injure a federal agent and assaulting or impeding the agent while they were performing official duties. Again, the idea of this woman physically hindering an armed federal agent who is in a vehicle is dumb as hell. But there's more. According to the indictment, the group conspired with one another and others, known and unknown, to prevent by force, intimidation, and threat Agent A United States law enforcement officer, from discharging the duties of his office. It alleged that Abughazaleh, along with the other individuals, banged aggressively on the agent's vehicle, crowded together in the front and side of the vehicle, and pushed against the vehicle to hinder and impede its movement. According to the indictment, the group etched the word pig onto the vehicle and broke a side mirror and a rear windshield wiper. It also alleged that Abughazaleh specifically joined the crowd at the front of the government vehicle and, with her hands on the hood, braced her body and hands against the vehicle while remaining directly in the path of the vehicle, hindering and impeding the agent. So the argument is that she's obstructing justice or law enforcement or something, but ICE isn't the cops, ICE isn't the military, ICE is a government agency that has been given exorbitant powers, unlimited funds, and no realistic checks or balances on its operations. When we talk about resistance, this is what we're talking about. When they say things like they're preventing officers from doing their duty, that is the idea. That is what resistance looks like. They are a paramilitary group funded with taxpayer dollars. So we're paying these people to antagonize our neighbors and our neighborhoods. They're in my neighborhood, and this is one of the safest neighborhoods in the country. They're not here looking for violent criminals or terrorists. If they were actually looking for violent criminals and terrorists, they would not be here. And I'm recording this on October 31st, which is Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love Halloween. I always have. I would have Halloween themed birthday parties. I would dress up, nothing crazy, but the spirit was always there. This year, for one, the weather is way too hot here in Houston, so the vibes have been completely off, but the holiday spirit is nowhere to be found. The commercialization of the holiday and the holiday season aside, ICE has already shown up at children's Halloween parties. People are afraid to open their doors to strangers. An incredible wave of layoffs is about to hit the American people immediately before the holidays. SNAP is gone. Healthcare is barely hanging on. Inflation is still out of control. And now we have to pay $20 for a bag of candy that will not last half of the Halloween night. Tonight, I hope the kids are safe. I hope they have fun. I hope they even get into a modicum of trouble. That will be a great story they can tell their classmates about later. In a perfect world, I want them to brag about how many pillowcases full of candy they got. That's the Halloween that I remember, and I think the spirit of it is still alive within us as a culture somewhere, but in trying times, things like that tend to fall by the wayside. I didn't even decorate my house for Halloween this year because, as I said, the vibes have been a little bit off. And going forward, we have Ralph Lauren Christmas to look forward to. And if you're not familiar, it is Ralph Lauren, which is a big corporation trying to market a traditional Christmas to us as if it's something new. So we can just throw out all of our old Christmas decor and buy their new stuff. And their new stuff is reminiscent of all the old stuff that a lot of us grew up with. They know that we're all just desperate for a time when the holidays felt warm and special and magical, even imperfect, to the point that they believe that we we will pay whatever money we still have left over from the jobs that we've collectively lost for a small bit of that nostalgia. The vibes, I'm telling you, this year are off, but it is our job to be so stubborn right now in clinging to our traditions, to our happiness, to our loved ones, and to our country. That is really our only job right now. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.